It's so gritty at Santa Barbara, and it's like you just lose that.
Baseball boot camp. That's what Coach Aggs calls it.
It is, but it's honestly great. Like you need that. We would have when it would rain over there shoveling water off the field. It's like, and honestly, those are some of like the best memories. Just like talking shop with like the guys just in the outfield shoveling water off, and it's like, dude, these are some of the best times.
Welcome back to Fear the Persh, the official podcast of Vaquero Baseball. I'm your host, Jeff Walker, head baseball coach at Santa Barbara City College. This is episode 5. In today's episode, we have former Vaquero infielder DJ Ghiorso joining us. DJ is a former conference MVP and JC All-American who, after his time at Santa Barbara City College, played at my alma mater, Loyola Marymount University in Los Angeles. DJ will be talking about his time at both Santa Barbara City College and LMU. He'll be sharing his experiences playing both community and Division I baseball. DJ came to SBCC after playing at Serra High in San Mateo. This is an awesome episode that will highlight going away to junior college, being in a college town, and how this prepares you for the next level. Today's episode of the Fear the Persh podcast is brought to you by Lily Fitness. Train smarter, move better, perform at your best. Lily Fitness, located 111 Santa Barbara Street in the Funk Zone. Group classes, personal training, and more. Lily Fitness, Santa Barbara's top coach for full body strength, mental clarity, and lasting results. For more info, go to www.lilyfitness.com to book your session today. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Fear the Persh. My guest today is former VacPack alum DJ Ghiorso. DJ, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, good to see you.
Good to see you.
So DJ just finished up his 2 years at my alma mater, Loyola Marymount. So congrats on a successful 2 years for the Lions.
Appreciate it. Yeah, that was very successful.
Yeah, a lot of good memories there. Great campus, though, by the way, right?
Beautiful campus.
Have to go from Santa Barbara to up on the bluff. That must have been a rough go, huh?
Yeah, no, I struck gold honestly with my college decisions and like my living situations for sure. Like I was very lucky to be in like such good areas for college. It was a great time for me.
We'll get back to your time at LMU, but walk us through your high school at Serra High School, which, shout out to the Padres. We've had some good ones here at Santa Barbara City College, you being one of Pat Caulfield all the way back to Zach Edgington. So I don't know if you know him. He's a Padre from the past, but senior year, Serra Padres end up coming. What was the senior year like, and what kind of led to that decision coming here?
Honestly, I was not even really looking to play baseball in college, if I'm being honest. I'm a small guy, as you know, but honestly, I wasn't really looking to play college baseball at all. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And I honestly just wasn't that good in high school. It was kind of funny. I just did not have good stats. It was like that COVID. So I couldn't really get recruited or anything, but like I just wasn't good enough to get recruited. And then I remember I was hitting with Ron Calloway, my hitting coach, and I believe you knew him, and you may have reached out, or I don't know how like that got out, but then, you texted me and I was like, all right, like I'll just give it another shot, I guess. And it was funny. I remember this like vividly. The next day after you texted me, my dad and I just like hopped in the car and went to Santa Barbara, and I didn't really know anything about it, but I texted Pat. I was like, oh, hey, like I'm going to Santa Barbara. Like, do you know anything? Like, can you give me any like tea or whatever it was? And he texted me back because he was really nice about it. And he was like telling me all about like his experience and like what he did at SBCC. And honestly, I got on campus, I walked around, and immediately I was like, all right, like I can go here. Like, it's not hard to sell going to Santa Barbara. Like it was the public park, but I was like, you know what? Like, I'll just give it a shot. I didn't really know anybody that was going here. So I was kind of like, okay, this is going to be like a new experience for sure. But luckily I had a few friends from Serra that were going as well, like Jacqueline. So like, he was roommating with me. So like, it made that transition a little easier. But honestly, like I wasn't really expecting anything going up to that, like leading up to that moment of like when you texted me. And then obviously Maddie went. So like I had like my best friend also with me. So like that like made the transition like very smooth, and like honestly just made it like very simple for me to be like, yeah, like I'll definitely go here and just give it my all. You know what I mean? And I guess you could say I did, but I just tried to like work hard because, obviously I could have went to Kenyatta, like where you went, or I could have went to CSM. but it was like I just needed like that college experience, and I needed to like get away from home if I'm being honest. I just couldn't be at home doing junior college if I'm, like I just couldn't do that. I needed to be away. I needed to be on my own for a little just to like see who I really am. And like that decision and like your text, that was the best decision I've ever made, obviously, going to Santa Barbara City College.
Yeah. So Ron Calloway, Callie, I know him from, he played at Kenyatta. He was a couple years ahead of me. And then he just said, hey, I got this guy I'm working with. I think he was working with Maddie Fung too, another Sarah Padre. So it's a lot of times it's third parties, or there's some sort of connection to me or the program or Santa Barbara
Okay.
that, gets guys down here, draws them this way, and it's a good fit. Away from home in junior college, that was not my junior college experience. I, lived at home. Kind of talked to us about, you spent 3 years here actually.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that a little bit later, but how did you mentioned growing up, how did that kind of help your transition, to Division I? And you've already kind of had that experience of being on your own versus, I know my experience, I was prepared on the baseball side, but maybe not on the life side, being away from home for the first time as a 21-year-old, not as an 18-year-old.
Yeah, honestly, I was kind of nervous if I'm being honest. Like obviously I was with my friend Maddie, so it like made that very easy, like I said. Also, like when I first got onto or in my own home and got into Buena Vista Apartments, I was like pretty nervous and I didn't really know what to expect. Like I remember it was like our first week of practice and like I was just so nervous and all we were doing was like basically running. Like we were just doing like the conditioning portion, but I was like so nervous showing up. Like I didn't really know how to like live on my own. Like I never really had to. I grew up in a big family here. I'm the youngest of five. So I've always had like people like share like my space with. And it was very similar in Santa Barbara for that first year. It was just enclosed. And I feel like that helped me throughout my years, even at LMU. I was like very easy to talk to. I was very easy to get along with. And I feel like my roommate situations were like perfect in that sense because it was like I knew everybody. I was very like open and it was just like a really good environment. But living away from home, it was a challenge for me at times. But I feel like as you obviously grow up, it gets easier. You just got to be like willing to, be fine, be like uncomfortable at times. Because I was definitely like nervous, but like obviously, like I said, Maddie helped me. Like he was already in college. He was at Boise, so like he kind of knew how to like transition the best. But for me, it was a pretty tough like I would say first month. But then like right when you start meeting everybody, right when you start getting into the field, I wasn't like in classes, so it was basically just like home and baseball was kind of what it was, and that like made it a lot easier to be like, okay, like now I'm comfortable. Now I can like meet new people, meet new friends, and like it just made
The first semester is your hardest, right? The away from home.
hardest.
That's your first semester. That's
It was
the
like ooh,
toughest in college.
it was just like I just felt like I couldn't make friends until like I actually like put myself out there, like hung out with other people. But it was just I was just struggling on that end. It was like I would just be at home, just like Maddie and Jack, and then I tried to make friends with JP, and he basically like blew me away the first like couple times. I was like, bro, I'm just trying to be friends with you. But yeah, I know it was just like small talk, and obviously being younger with like a lot of older guys on that first year team, like that was also like a difficult thing to do because obviously we had the COVID and all that. So like a lot of those guys were older, like, genuinely, like there were a lot older guys.
Backlog of players from COVID and come
Exactly,
in as
yeah.
a true freshman.
It was like these guys are 20 to 21-year-olds, and I'm just a little small little 18-year-old. So it was a little different in that sense. It felt like more like a Division I or like a 4-year college in like our first year for sure.
I remember telling Callaway that, you guys that he had worked with were, on the baseball side, as good or, ready to play college baseball or had an idea of playing college baseball. I think a lot of kids come in that maybe kind of survived on their physicality. And I think guys at the 4-year level, they get recruited because of all those physical tools and how they look. But, the gameplay is much different in college, as you know. And I
100%.
think that was one of the things that set you apart right from the get-go. And certainly throughout your career, I think, contributed to the player that you are, and having that success. Anything, I mean, you mentioned that you were not even considering, you didn't maybe get a lot of playing time in high school or as much. Anything, any advice you can give somebody coming into college for the first time and trying to prepare them, to be ready to play?
I think the main thing for me, like when I got there, And obviously I played a lot. Like I was a starting shortstop in high school, but like that didn't like really mean anything. Like obviously Sarah's a really good institution, but like I knew I just wasn't that good of a baseball player to play at the next level yet. And that's totally fine. Like you kind of have to like swallow that pill in a sense. But I think just what I took away from SBCC and like what I think was really good for me was like I was watching other guys and I kind of wanted to like play my game like how they were playing. Like we had guys that were really good defensively. So I kind of just like mimicked them in a sense like defensively to try to like I thought they were really good. So I would just kind of do exactly what they were doing, right? And then I would look at like professional baseball players and like their swings and kind of like replicate like their swings into my sense and just honestly just watching baseball. Just like that's like the thing that I would take away the most is like being I redshirted my first year. So it was like I was just watching baseball. I wasn't like actually playing it. So it was like I was just watching all the games. I was like seeing what works for people, what doesn't. Like you put guys on jobs, they should be taking the like advantage of those jobs. But I think for me, just watching baseball and just seeing what works for people and what doesn't, and then kind of like implementing that into your game, I think that was very helpful for me. Like honestly, have that idea if you're a first year guy that you probably may not play unless you're like a dude, right? But just kind of continuing to understand the game and thinking of the game like when your name is called, you can go in there and just not be like nervous for like, oh, like I don't know what I should be doing in this situation or whatever it may be, or I don't have the right footwork or technique or whatever, you're thinking in your head. But I think just watching baseball really helped me and like made me fall in love to like not only the game, but like playing it as well. So I think that was like a main thing that helped me my first year.
That year that you redshirted, did you
Yeah.
like watch the guys? Because you traveled with us and you were
Yeah.
involved in our program. And, did you watch guys like in your position at short or second base going, okay, and kind of take the reps with them? Like, because obviously you made the transition, like you were, good enough probably to play that first year, but we did have some guys. And then obviously it worked out for both our program and yourself. But
Yeah.
I mean, kind of, did you do those things? I always tell, guys that they do the red shirt, you're right. Or, some guys are just like, hey, you're red shirt, and then they just disappear and they don't do, you don't, you don't see them till the next year and they're the same player
Exactly.
they were.
100%. That's exactly what I was going to say. Like we had a lot of older guys. So we had like Gavin, Gabe, and Deal, who like those guys were good players, right? And they played a lot of college baseball before I even played. So I was watching them. I was like honestly learning a lot. Like I thought Deal was an extremely good with like his hand. So I would like ask him like during reps, like he would be at second base with me. And I kind of just like talked to him about like, okay, like how do you even like get your hands to move that quickly? Because that was like his issue. Like he like was too quick. And it was kind of like I would just talk to them. I mean, obviously watching Gabe, it was like he was special at shortstop, and then Gavin at third base, like a smaller third baseman that like I kind of, I was the same thing the following year, right? I was a small third baseman for us, but just like watching those guys play because they played a lot of the games and they played well, right? And then watching Maddie just going home and being able to talk to Maddie too, but like what he sees and all that. Like I kind of just wanted to slow the game down because I was sped up if I'm being honest. Like even when I got redshirted, it was pretty funny. Like I was like, dang, like it's going like that way again. But you can either kind of run away from it, or you can take it head on and just go out there and just learn. And I wanted to play baseball. I knew I was good enough. From the fall, I thought I was pretty good, like at Santa Barbara City College. Then I got redshirted, and I was like, okay, maybe I'm not that good yet. So I just got to get better. But watching the guys in front of you, like learning from everybody on the team, that's like a good way to get good at baseball and like understand the game, in my opinion.
I remember, I think it was a January scrimmage when we were playing Westmont, and you were in the game of the redshirt year, and it sped up on you pretty fast. I remember you like kind of come to the side and like taking a breather, and it was like, "Hey, relax, it's going to be okay." And it can be a big moment for, yeah, it can be a big moment for guys, especially going over and playing a 4-year school, which Westmont's here right in town, and they got a good program. And, we've had some, good success for our players going up there and playing those guys. But the next year, you get inserted, it's your time. And I mean, you just excelled for somebody that, didn't play and redshirted. We stuck you in at third, which is at junior college is a premium defensive position. Maybe not so much at the 4-year level, but junior college, everybody bunts and drag bunts, and they got a bunch of right-handed hitters hooking the baseball, and it can be pretty hot over there. And I don't know how much experience you had at third, but we just put you in there and had a need, and you excelled. So
That's
both
zero
with
experience.
Yeah, you didn't show it. So
You did that.
I think that's you come to mind as and it's been with you were a game changer over there for us. We had Matt Jimenez, he was a game changer over there for us. This past year, Sean Asperger was a game changer for over there. So it's a lot of times sometimes it's more difficult to find a third baseman at this level than it is a shortstop. So uh
There's even at the D1
yeah,
level. It was funny. Like
yeah,
at LMU, we didn't even have a third baseman both years I was there. So we were just
and you got stuck playing third again, huh?
stuff playing third again. There it is. Yeah. Look how that turns out. He's like, you have any
Well,
experience third? I was like, wait.
I hear that. I hear that a lot, and that's something too that I took from my junior college coach is trying to get guys to play different positions because it does make you guys more marketable. But there's how
100%.
many times I've heard that from Division One guys, they're struggling. They walk out and they'll ask a guy, "Hey, did you ever play here before?" And they go, "Yeah, I played it in junior college." And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Okay, cool." So, but I mean, pretty unique. You played third, you played short, you played second. Did you play in the outfield?
You know what's funny? So when I got hurt my first year at LMU, we're doing like the pregame routine, right? So we're taking BP and it's at Pepperdine. And our head coach comes over to me and he's like, like I think next year we're gonna have you play in the outfield. Like I feel like our infield group's really good. So for all of summer, I was just practicing in the outfield because I was just rehabbing because of my back, and I didn't practice one time in the fall in outfield at LMU for my second year. And I thought I was like, I got a glove and everything. Like he gave me one, and he was like, "No, we need you like in the infield now." So I thought I was gonna be like the center fielder like day one at LMU my second year, and that just did not turn out correct at all. But I kind of wish I
Uh,
played.
they couldn't keep you out of the infield. I remember during the recruitment process, they kind of looked at you and they're like, I think we can put him in the outfield. Or, what they always say, we're good in the infield, but I think there's a spot out there. And DJ finds a way to. I mean, you're playing shortstop your first year there, and playing shortstop in the Northwoods League and making plays for Aiden Wershing and the Fighting Fish.
The man.
So yeah, that was, and you great freshman season playing third base, couple game saving plays for us, like I said, and then on to your sophomore year, you're MVP of the league playing second base. So it was like one of those things where it was, hey, I'm just going to leave this guy alone. He's going to play second base and make every single play and hit him at the top of the lineup. And you had historically, probably one of the best 2 year stretches here. Will Matuzak got you in some career numbers this last
Yeah.
couple of years, but
Threw me out the water. Honestly, I was watching that. I was like, whoa,
it,
it's crazy.
yeah, yeah. I showed him the stolen base record, and he was like, "Oh yeah, no, I'll get that."
That's hilarious. Yeah. And with even fun, I think, but even before you guys went to playoffs, he like had me beat in every single category. I was like, all right. And then you guys went to the Final Four, or whatever, whether Elite Eight, and then yeah, he blew me out. That was fun to watch. But I was also like, dang, like my records lasted a year.
Hey, you went down a peg. It's
Yeah,
it's it's
yeah,
it's okay.
went
I
down
mean,
again.
you both virtually played, I think, every single game in 2 years. I think you had a hamstring injury or a back injury that kept you out of
Yeah,
2 games. Is those the only 2 games you missed in
yeah, I
those two
believe
years?
I remember that at Ventura. Those were the two games I met. The doubleheader
And
that
then,
day.
and then Will had an ingrown toenail that kept him out of a game against Oxnard, and he chat GBT'd how to dig out his ingrown toenail. The next day, he's like, "Yeah, I'm good." What'd you do? He goes, I just went chat GBT. I'm like, okay, Dr. Matuzak. I said, please go see our ATC. And he goes, what's our ATC? I said, that's our trainer. And our trainer she goes, he actually did a really good job and he's good to go. So yeah, so that was the only game he missed. But your sophomore year for us, absolutely phenomenal, both on and off the field. I always make examples like, both you and Villar were always the first guy there, last guy to leave, always looking around, making sure the ship was tidied up. And, I think that stuff goes a long way. Did you, feel like that kind of made you more valuable and that your time transferring on of, other than just the baseball stuff? Because you certainly had a lot of leadership qualities, and I always kind of talk about you as a culture guy and the lasting impact. And I can go through like a handful of guys that have made those impacts here on the program, but kind of talk about that a little bit of what you kind of brought in. Because I think that's a valuable asset for anybody looking to add to the roster with especially a junior college guy or a guy from our program.
No, 100%. That was honestly something that I even noticed with a lot of like when I was at LMU. Like we would obviously have field cleanup and take down, but when you got to like the D1 program, like you have people that are setting up your field and you have people that are taking down your field, right? But you also need to help. And it was like brutal to watch this year for me because we had a lot of younger guys, but it was like I feel like they just don't understand. Like they also have like a duty to clean up the field and like make sure everything's set up too. And junior college, we needed to do that every day, right? You needed to have guys. It was like your space, right? You want to make sure your space is clean. And I don't know if it was like they've never done that at their high school or they just didn't think they needed to do that. Like you get to the D1, it's like, oh, like you don't have to do any field setup. But that is like the
Right.
opposite. Like I feel like the best teammates I've ever had are guys that like show up, are the first guys setting up the field and taking down the field. And you just like make friends like that. Like honestly, you make guys on the team like root for you. And if you're not a guy that is setting up, like you're gonna find a lot of enemies quickly. It was like when I first came over to LMU and we would have like freshmen not setting up, it's like this is crazy. Like this is insane. How it's like you don't show up early, you don't set up the field, you don't even show up on time. And it was just like something that like honestly like we just didn't have like a culture. And I feel like at Santa Barbara, like you have such a big culture there. Like if you're the Persh, like the Pershing Park is like our culture, it's like our home. And I feel like our field at LMU was kind of different in that sense where it was like you just didn't have a lot of guys setting up the field or taking it down. And I feel like personally, as like a leader on the team this year, like I just didn't do a good job of like enforcing that. But I just noticed that was way different from when I was at junior college to a D1. It was just like you just didn't have a lot of guys that understood that the importance in that of like taking care of your space. Like we're playing at a public park where like and you have a lot of fans around, right? You have a lot of homeless people, right? But like
Season ticket holders.
we have our season ticket holders. And it's funny, like we just at LMU it was the complete opposite. And it was frustrating at times because it's like, why am I a fifth year setting up the field and taking it down and going looking for our home run balls? And then we have like younger guys just like in the dugout getting water after practice is over. Like, dude, you get
Well,
more
hopefully they learn from you and those guys can kind of carry that stuff on. But I always say that's like, yeah, that's some of the missing things with guys that, especially going to a Division I school. I mean, or even our program is they aren't used to sitting on the bench. They're not used to being accountable because if they are at this level or the next level, they generally are the better players on the team. And sometimes the coaches can look the other way or it's not as important. Again, our field is the story of our team. And so some guys, maybe they come from turf fields. I know your alma mater's got a turf field. So, it's, dragging a rake through your second base might be a foreign idea for
exactly.
kids. So we're unfortunately raising a whole culture of baseball players that don't know what it's like to, either throw batting practice because everybody's got a hack attack now. My 10-year-old nephew, Bryce, has got a junior hack attack. And, so we're raising a whole group of kids that don't know how to throw batting practice or rake a field. Today's episode of the Fear of the Persh podcast is brought to you by Lily Fitness. Train smarter, move better, perform at your best. Lily Fitness, located 111 Santa Barbara Street in the Funk Zone, group classes, personal training, and more. Lily Fitness, Santa Barbara's top coach for full body strength, mental clarity, and lasting results. For more info, go to www.lilyfitness.com to book your session today. So
I tell everybody it's so gritty at Santa Barbara, and it's like you just lose
baseball boot camp. That's what Coach Aggs calls it. Baseball boot camp.
It is, but it's honestly great. Like you need that. You need to like show like we would have when it would rain over there shoveling water off the field. It's like, and honestly, like, those are some of like the best memories. Just like talking shop with like the guys just in the outfield shoveling water off, and it's like, dude, these are some of the best times. Like obviously, we didn't have to practice, which was good. We got out early, but it's like these are times where we can like bond and like talk about like the day and everything and just like slow it all down, just like be humans for a little. And it was just completely different at LMU. It was just like a little separated in that sense, which I really wish that what was at Santa Barbara was at LMU because it was like, I think that would have helped the team a lot and like showed a little like who's gritty and who's not at the end of the day. Like that was kind of what I took.
The stuff usually comes out in the win-loss column. Do you have a favorite memory or two game wise that you put when you played for us?
I would say the Saracoso game when I didn't start this game. I think it was my first year, sorry. And then I came in. I have two great memories, but then I came in against Saracoso in the 8th. I got walked and I got picked off. And then I went to the next inning. It's the 9th. Or it might have been the 9th, yeah. So it was the bottom of the ninth now, and I think it was Charlie Adamson was on the mound, and I made like three really nice plays to end the game at third base.
Caught a line drive with the tie-in or go-ahead runs on, I believe. I think the
Yeah, and
tie-in
then
was on third and the go-ahead
two
run was on
sliding,
second.
two sliding plays, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, it's sick." And then no, that was a great memory because it was like that. That's even a great like portion. Not to be like that guy, but like I mean, I didn't start the game, but I finished it. And you talk about all the time, like the 7, 8, 9s are the most important, and I feel like that is so true. Like I'm like starting to coach, and I'm like bringing that up. It's like the most important innings are like the end of the game. Like that's when the games are won and lost. But my other favorite memory was obviously the walk off against Chafee. My first,
Okay, yeah, I hit a home run.
yeah, I remember. I hear
Down to last. Did you have 2 strikes on you, or
I
we
had
were
one.
down to our last out?
Yeah, we were down to our last out, and I hit a walk off. That was sick because that was my third home run that year. But I remember you in the background. You were just like, focus on middle. I was like, okay,
Yank it. Yeah, yanked it
I,
left field.
yeah,
And ambushed that. They were their head coach actually was a former player of mine, but he wasn't there that series. His wife just had a kid, and he texts me. He goes, walk off at the Persh, or something like that. That was pretty cool.
yeah.
I remember. I mean, we went up and played the team up north, and we were down by a run in the ninth with 2 outs and nobody on, and Ethan Watson has like a 10-pitch at bat, walks. Pat sends him. You hit a double in the gap. He scores all the way.
Oh my gosh, that was
By
great.
it. And then on the very next pitch, Daniel Hirose gets a base hit. You come in, get the go ahead run. And then it was like 3 up, 3 down in the ninth. And
Yep.
I just remember the look in their dugout was like, wait a minute, if we just lose? Like we were winning like the whole game. And it was just like,
He strikes on me at that moment too. Like I was like two, and I was like, oh my gosh. And then he lays like a fastball like middle, and I like put it to right field. And I was like, whoa. That was a great moment too.
Well, you played the game the right way. I still have coaches in the league that talk about how great, not just a player you were in our conference, but just how good of a kid you were. And I think that shows, guys all the time. And, even some guys that, you recruit, they maybe don't communicate with you. And it's just like, hey, at the end of the day, we're all like kind of in the same thing to help people out. And, I always had a good attitude with that and nothing but positive comments, which, I think carried over in, your character. And I know you'll be successful in everything you do. You have a favorite class that you took at Santa Barbara City College?
I did it. I think it was astronomy, I believe. Yeah, it was astronomy, and we did it in person. It was me, Presley, and JP in this class, and 3 Stooges, I guess. But we were learning about astronomy, and it was cool because I didn't have to do the lab. So they went. I think it was like to Montecito. They had like a lab where you actually can like look at stars, but I didn't have to do that. But I thought this class was honestly really fun. And I actually learned a lot. Like we showed up every week because it was entertaining. It was like our only in-person class at this point because obviously like, they weren't open for a lot of the courses. So we took this course, and I think it was like 6:30 to 9 on like Wednesday nights or something like that, just some random day. But it was honestly so fun because we were actually like all interested in like what we were learning, and it was my first class since at Santa Barbara City College. So it was the first class I actually took. And so I was like, this is my first college course. And I was like, whoa, like this is kind of cool in the sense of like how big the classroom was. Like it probably, sat like 100 kids, but there's probably like 50 in our class. But that's like when I was like, whoa, like it was a lot different from LMU too, because they're a lot smaller classes. But I thought that was a really cool experience for me. And that's like really the only class I remember from Santa Barbara that I took in person. Obviously like my math classes, but those were boring. So I wasn't really too.
He didn't take surfing 101 like Bergevin. That was his favorite class.
I don't know why I did not take like a cool class, like your hiking class, or like, I don't know.
Class on campus.
Surfing. I don't know how to surf, which is crazy to say. I still do not know how to surf. And I was in Santa Barbara and LA for 5 years. And I was honestly, I don't know why I was scared. It was like skiing. I know you're a big skier, but like I was scared of like getting hurt, like surfing. I'm like, because I'm just that guy. Like I would just blow my back out on like a wave. And I'm like, okay, let's not do that. So I was just scared, but I'm gonna get into surfing now. I'm 100% gonna get into surfing and skiing.
I lived here 16 years, so I don't know how to surf. So it's
yeah. I'm in like my prime surfing age, I feel like though. You know what I mean? Like I feel like now's the time to get into it.
Yeah. How about the transition from junior college to Division I? What adjustments did you feel like looking back that you had to make, or, advice to guys moving forward in that direction?
I would say just honestly, just be you at the end of the day. First week I got onto campus at LMU, I was scared as well, but I was in a really nice house. Like I was in a lot of older guys. So it was really cool. Like they made it very simple and easy for me. But I would say like it's obviously gonna be nerve wracking, but I wasn't really expecting. This could sound kind of bad, but I honestly wasn't really expecting to play. Like I was a walk on. I was like a late sign guy, so I think I signed in like the end of July. So like I really honestly like didn't really have a spot to go. Wasn't really getting any money, so I was like, okay, like I'm just honestly just gonna enjoy my time here. Like if I ride the bench, I ride the bench. But it's like I like just really want to be a part because I wanted to play D1, so I just really wanted to be a part of the team and like that team aspect of like okay, like I gotta travel to these cool places. I got to play at cool ballparks. Like we went to Baylor my first year. So it's like, okay, I got to play at these cool places. Like I'm just going to enjoy my time. And I was just being me. I was a very competitive guy. And so I feel like that like kind of helped me out in a sense of like, it kind of like, I kind of stood out in that sense where I was like my competitive nature. Like I'm a tough out. I'm just going to be the guy that I know how to be. And I did so well in junior college. Like I was a tough out. I like hustled. Like I just did all the things that like kind of like stand out in a sense. And I feel like if that's your game, stick to that. Don't try to do something that you're not just because, you're going to like a different environment. So like LMU was like a different environment for me. Obviously D1, never played at D1. Spent 3 years at a junior college, so it was like this is kind of all I know. So I took that grittiness from junior college and I try to like implement that into my game at LMU. But I would say it was kind of a cool experience and unique. I think we spent like the first week just like getting to know everybody and like doing like that team bonding stuff. But I would say like genuinely like just be you. Don't try to be somebody you're not. Like obviously we're all like there for the same reason to play baseball, to win some games. I feel like having that team culture and like team aspect like right away and just getting involved with it, just being a good teammate. Like at the end of the day, just being a good teammate and a guy that guys want to root for. And I feel like that's like what helped me like made me successful at LMU is like I was a great
Do you,
teammate.
do you think getting so much playing time in junior college? I mean, we've got, a pretty extensive fall. I mean, or, we got 15 weeks of fall baseball class, and then you got 10 dates inside of that, and then inter squads inside of that, and, 40 game schedule. Do you think that kind of helped, as far as the baseball side of it, of going in as this kind of a guy with, essentially you had 3 years of college baseball under you, versus a transition of someone coming right out of high school. I think that kind of helped kind of, level the curve a little bit, because it is a jump, for sure. But maybe kind of lessen the blow a little bit.
100%. I think the schedule that we had in junior college was a great schedule, like the Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday games. But in the fall, especially like when we're practicing, we're playing, I feel like I don't know if this is like good to say, but like D1, you can kind of practice for however long you want in a sense. Like, yeah, like we have the care hours, whatever they're called, but like you're at the field and you're at this like the school from like 8 a.m. to essentially like 7 p.m. Right. So you're there for a long time. So like that, you got to devote a lot of times, but I feel like it helped us at SBCC, like our schedule and everything. It was like being at the field. Like we almost lived on campus as well. Like for me. So it was like, I was on I was at the field a lot. I was doing all that type of stuff. So it was like, I think our schedule and everything, it did help us at LMU for sure. And like kind of like help.
Taking ground balls, staying after and hitting, all those things.
And maybe we didn't have like the exact same like resources in a sense, because like obviously like the cages or like the ground balls, like it wasn't always like there. But like even at D1, like you have all those like resources that you can use. I feel like that's something like you're gonna get like overlooked if you're not putting in the extra work. Like this past year, like I was kind of sloppy on that sense. Like I was just not really like in the right mindset, I would say, with like all of like my extra work and all that. But like I feel like my first year, like I was putting in the work. Like I felt like the transition from junior college to D1 was obviously a big change, like with like practices and games. I feel like it definitely helped me at SBCC to like know. And I spent 3 years there, so I understood like, okay, this is the college schedule. Maybe not like the game wise, but you're going to be game days. You're going to be at the field for a long time. Practices, you're going to be at the field for a long time. You just got to kind of adapt to that.
Gotta love baseball. I spent some time as a Division I assistant, and I kind of, my notice of the junior college kids that we had brought in was their gameplay was ahead of, the freshmen, and then maybe some of those guys were just a little bit more physical or better athletes, but they kind of had a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. They kind of were always the ones that, were the first ones there, the last ones to leave. And I mean, that was kind of what I grew up with too. I played at LMU, and I remember when I transferred in, I'd always go and lift. We didn't quite have the same strength and conditioning emphasis that you do maybe at Division One. I always go lift on my own because that was what I did in junior college. And remember, my roommates were always like, "Where are you going?" I'm like, "I'm going to go work out." And then it just like kind of like it was kind of a different mindset that I was maybe
Yeah.
used to of just doing baseball and everything to try to get better at baseball, and always staying after and hitting, and game ends and it's like I'm going to go in the cage and hit. And so guys are kind of like, and there was a few of us that did it. And I think that's a cultural thing too of, the places you're at or your teammates. And those are always I think the memories that you guys, go from is, the teammates that you have and the coaches that you have. And, I was talking with some of my former teammates, and, I think, unfortunately, I think, in this kind of weird transfer portal days, I think guys kind of look into the sweet Oakleys and all the stuff that they get, and they kind of sometimes lose the whole point. And, the relationships that you have and those cool, fun experiences, the traveling places. And I mean, that's some of the things that we try to do here is give like a full college baseball experience where it's not just, a showcase. It's not just,
Showing goes. No, I feel like
yeah, show and goes, and kind of try to make it look as similar as that. Overnight trips,
perfect.
like
That stuff is great.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday type of stuff. I think we
Yeah,
traveled, went up and played Kenyatta when you were there, and
exactly.
we've got some exchanges that going forward. This last season, we took the team to Hawaii, which was cool. Which sorry that you were a couple of years, but hey, it's guys like you that make these things possible. So that's
Yeah,
always, the whole goal is to make it better for the next generation, not sour that you don't get to do those things.
oh no, I would have loved going to Hawaii though.
Yeah,
I'm glad you said like you gotta love baseball. That's actually like a great thing. That's how I felt like during summer ball, even with Kenosha. It's like you're on those, like you gotta figure out if you really like love baseball or if you just like baseball because you're on those long bus trips in the middle of nowhere. You're staying in those Motel Sixes or wherever they are, just crappy hotels, and you're like, okay, like this is I have to love baseball if I want to keep on doing this. And that's like kind of what I felt like with Kenosha. And it was a great experience with Kenosha. It was kind of similar to
did that kind of help transition to Division One a little bit?
100%. Like those like trips. And I mean, obviously it's different because you're playing every single day. You don't have as much time to like, you don't really practice at all. And you're at the field from the time you wake up to the time you go to sleep. You're just at the field. And it's kind of, you don't really have anything else to do. I think you had like, what is it, 3 off days in the Northwoods or something? That's something crazy like that. And I only played a month. So like I only had 30 days or whatever it was. And I probably played like 26, 27 games. And it was like, whoa.
And then you still finished the summer with the Crawdads, who shout out to
I was
Brent
just
Cummins.
Yeah. Congrats to them though. That's actually exciting. But yes, that's what I was figuring out. Like, okay, I have to love baseball. And that's like, because you're playing with all other D1 guys, Power 5 guys or Power 4, whatever it is. But you're figuring out really if you're meant for this or not. And that was a great experience for me as well, going into Kenosha and playing for Aiden. It was a great experience.
Yeah, Aiden's awesome. It's something that we try to do. You're kind of like a model too, whereas you played a lot as a freshman, played 40 games. No reason for you to go really play summer baseball as a freshman.
Yeah.
I think you stayed home, worked out, got stronger. And then the transition from your sophomore year to your junior year is I try to put guys in real leagues, Northwoods League, West Coast League, some CCL teams if they're close to home or have a reason they want to stay close to home. But I think it does benefit you guys going forward, making that transition, all those experiences, playing in front of a bunch of fans.
It's great.
Some bad umpires, I'm sure, in the Northwoods League still.
It's great that you have like Aiden as like your connection because like sending guys out to Kenosha, it's like that's a great little baseball town.
Loves the Vax. We got 2 guys there right now, Cole and Will. We've got a couple of we've had good success with sending guys to Waterloo, send gets to Mankato. So yeah, connections, which is what you have when you're old like myself, and some of these guys that are former players are now coaching some of these teams. I see that Owen Crevette's coaching one of the teams too up there. Yeah.
Is he West Coast League or is he in the Northwoods?
He's in the Northwoods.
He's in the Northwoods. Yeah, I saw him taking a photo of Aiden.
Yeah, he took a photo of Aiden. So it was another hashtag hashtag backpack pick that got sent to me. So that was kind of cool. So got your degree from LMU, 5 years of college baseball. What's next for DJ?
Right now, it's kind of funny. I'm selling glasses at Warby Parker, pretty bougie in Palo Alto. But I'm really trying to get into coaching and then doing like real estate as well. So I'm getting my real estate license right now, but I really wanted to get into coaching. And I think I'm going to start in the fall at some places. Just I'm kind of doing like my own lessons right now, which I'm actually like really enjoying. And like it's great just like be involved with baseball again, if that makes sense. Like kind of like when I graduated, I was like, dang, like I kind of want to play still, but I just knew I was like not like the right like
There might be another NC2A ruling comes out and you can get it 6 year. So
get my 6th year back. Yeah. I was actually crazy just like seeing that actually. And all my buddies are now looking for a 5th year opportunity. It's like, wow. But I mean, I had some opportunities to play like independent ball, but just this past year, it kind of took a toll on me, like playing wise. And I'm just like not really like healthy in a sense. Still
I
go.
think you gave it
I
your
gave it
all.
all. I
I
gave
think
it all I had, and it's over now, I think. So I think coaching's great, though. I like love it. Like I was coaching like some kids last night, like hitting lessons and fielding lessons. So it's great for me right now. Honestly, just get in the field and just stick around baseball because obviously I love it. Like I love watching, I love playing, and being able to like coach, like you said, like the next generation. You know, it's like I feel like it's sound bad, but I feel like the kids nowadays, especially from my area, are just really bad at baseball, and they don't have the right coaching. They don't have good coaching at all. And I went out and I'm doing a fielding lesson, and there's like a tournament going on, and it's like 16-11 in the 4th inning, and there's like a pop up in the infield. These guys are 13 years old. There's a pop up in the infield, and it just drops, and I was like, wow, like. I couldn't do this, but I could maybe coach them a little better, but I couldn't be watching this as like in my free time. It's exciting. I'm definitely excited to coach, get out there and just help guys get better at baseball for sure.
yeah, selling houses isn't going anywhere. So
Exactly.
I said you can do both. And I thought one of the cooler things too is you mentioned that you're interested in real estate. And I tried to connect you with two of my former teammates that are big real estate moguls down there in LA.
Yeah.
Kind of show you some of the ropes or what they did. But whatever you choose in baseball, I'm sure you'll dominate that and dominate selling houses or flipping houses, or whatever it may be. Well, DJ, I appreciate you coming on.
I appreciate
This
you
was
walking everything.
awesome. Yeah, can't thank you enough for what you've done. You coach those kids in NorCal. Make sure that you send the good ones this way.
Yeah.
Reestablish that Sarah pipeline. We got a Sarah kid coming in next year, so that's exciting.
I've been telling people like if you want to go somewhere, just go to Santa Barbara City College. You're going to get that 4-year experience at a junior college. It's save a lot of money. So I would recommend going to Santa Barbara City College for sure. To everybody that I was talking to, it's like, dude, just go to Santa Barbara. Got a great place over there.
This concludes another episode of Fear the Persh, the official podcast of Vaquero Baseball, keeping Vaquero Nation updated on all things VacPack. I'm your host, Jeff Walker, head baseball coach. Don't forget to click subscribe button with new episodes dropping every Monday throughout the fall. Until next time, hashtag VacPack, hashtag Fear the Persh, and we'll see you in the big leagues.